I was trying to like.
His name is Osacer, my wiener.
That's not how you spell Oscar.
I don't know how to spell Oscar.
It's Oscar.
Listen, they don't do the commercial anymore.
My baloney has a first name. It's Oscar. My baloney has a second name. It's Meier. If people ask me why, I'd say something, something, something name. Wieners and baloney are called Oscar Mayer.
It's a good thing that you don't know all the words because it went from this is going to get copyrighted to what?
To why are you an idiot?
That's not any of the end of the song.
Welcome back to another episode of the Rum Runnas Podcast, where we drink rum and talk about stuff. I'm
wait.
Jared.
I'm Kyle.
Why'd you clap?
Why not?
You suck. We're back for another week to talk about weird and interesting news from
on the internet,
all over the internet. We read the
first.
clickbait, so you don't. I said clickbait because you interrupted me and it confused me.
We read the clickbait, so I don't have to.
You don't ever read the clickbait.
Exactly.
I read the clickbait so that you and Kyle don't
I said it
have
right
to.
then.
How y'all doing today? This is a weird day already. It's getting off to a weird start.
I don't feel well.
Wow.
Sick drinking is
Have you tried this?
No.
It's interesting.
Your mom's interesting.
Check out Two Drunk Dads. See the show before
Two
the show.
Drunk Dads is where we
See
make
what
a
we
drink like you make when you're 18. You don't know what you're doing.
21, we do not condone underage drinking.
We don't condone it, but people do it, and that's how you do it.
All right, then. Are you ready to just automatically get into the first one? Do you have anything that you want to talk about first? Like where you can find us now?
Oh, man, we are all on the internets now. We are on the Spotifys. We're on Anchor.fm. We're on Breaker. We're on Castbox. We're on Podchaser. We're on Twitter now.
We are.
And Facebook and Instagrams. And now I'm going to make Jared do the hard stuff and put it all in the description.
He's just going to send me the links anyway, so it'll be fine.
You already have the links.
See? It's fine then.
We're RumPod on Twitter, and we're at Rum Runners or the Rum Runnas Podcast on everything else.
Except for Spotify, where we're /show/567 some.
Is that how you searched it?
No, we're searchable though on
So,
Spotify.
yeah, just search
search the Rum Runners Podcast.
Yeah, I know. Like that's the weird one. Like everything, like Anchor, it's Anchor.fm/Rum Runnas.
Rum Runners.
Everything
No, I
else
think
is
it's
like
Rum
that.
Runners Pod.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything else has pretty much our name. So yeah, now we, on top of being on YouTube, on Rum Runners Entertainment, we are on audio platforms. Almost all of them. We're just waiting to hear back on Apple.
And Stitcher.
And Stitcher, yeah. So there's two main ones that we're just waiting to hear back from. But we're in a lot of places. So if you like to see us, see our pretty faces and bodies, you can see us on the YouTubes. And if you want to just hear our sultry voices, you can listen to us on almost all platforms where you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, if you want to think about us not being two fat guys while you're in the shower, you should just listen to our voices.
Like if you want to picture like
a stoner and like a weird Puerto Rican guy who doesn't speak that way.
I was gonna say like, you know,
I don't know. I was always told my voice sounds like I'm high all the time.
I was just gonna start picking like Spanish people and just be like, if you want to picture me as a young Antonio Banderas, you can do that. Who do you want to be? Antonio Banderas.
Martin Short. I feel like I sound just like him.
On to the first one.
Christian Bale. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
How do you feel about
Dick pics? We can't say that.
For one, yes you can, because it was in a cartoon.
What?
Yeah, Dick Grayson, man.
I don't think that's the same thing.
It's totally the
Anyway,
same thing.
because he forgot to do it, and he always forgets to do it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to us on all those platforms now.
That's
and
kinda
or
insane.
this, and or
Follow us on.
follow me at my house, or
Don't
call
do
me
that.
on my phone.
Don't do any of these
My
things
phone
that he's
number
saying.
is Jared. What's your phone number real quick?
These are basically stalking at this point, is what you're telling people to do.
Do that. Stalk me. I don't mind.
You're inviting stalking.
I'm not scared.
Stalkings.
You sock me. I'll show you me naked.
What is happening?
I don't know. We're talking about dick pics.
Sending unsolicited dick pics is now illegal in Texas and can result in a $500 fine.
Quick question.
No show the no-no.
Well, how was it not illegal before? I feel like if you are just sending pictures of your dick, that counts as sexual harassment, and therefore that's a crime.
I think it's because most states, one, they never thought that you'd be able to, on a phone, send a picture.
Sexual harassment. I think that's covered in that.
Yeah, I mean, blanketed. But the thing is that technically, and this is just me playing devil's advocate.
I feel like they're doing it this way because sexual harassment is like jail time.
Yeah.
Where now they're like, it's $500 fine because our governor sent a dick pic to like 4 children. That's
terrible, though.
That's probably what it is.
That's on levels way worse. But I was just saying, technically, other states
Didn't some like Democratic
probably
do that? Like,
I can almost guarantee.
Wasn't his name Wiener?
Yeah, Anthony Weiner.
He sent it
but
to
he got
child.
He did that, but also there's he got prostitutes and underage prostitutes. He did a lot of stuff. Wiener was bad.
This is hard AF.
Yeah, it's because it's what underage people drink.
I don't do this
and
anymore.
we even tried to make it fancy, but woof.
That might have made it worse.
Probably.
This is more alcohol that I added.
I can't believe it made the soda go flat.
No, we made the soda go flat by being fancy and putting it in a decanter.
True. But the state has introduced a new law that
means... take 5 hours to set everything up.
Yeah, but no. So that means sending someone a nude lewd?
A lewd nude?
To which they didn't consent, whether on a dating app, messenger, or even airdrop. I love how they say, or even airdrop.
Just listen, people. If she doesn't say, let me see your noodle, don't send it.
Exactly. That's pretty much what it is. Unless she asks for it, don't do it.
I don't know. If she does ask for it, question that. Because my wife's like, send me it. I'm like, you don't like that. I'm not sending you that.
Your children also use your phone, so don't do that anyway.
It weirds me out when she asks. Because I'm like, I don't understand.
I've never understood, due to the fact that I'm not married, I also don't get it. But why in marriages are people like, yeah, send me sexy pictures. Just chill. What are you going to do? You're at work.
That makes it better.
I've just never understood the whole.
I think that makes it better.
I've sent sexy pictures maybe 3 times, and they were to the same person, and every single time it didn't go well.
She was like, "Ew, take a better one." And you're like, "You know what? No, because you made me feel bad now."
No, because she was like, "You need to be spontaneous," and then I sent it spontaneously, and she was like, "I was with the clients," and I was like, "Well, you shouldn't have opened it then."
You need to send a forwarding message. The following image will be explicit. Please prepare yourself. Find a quiet room where you can spend alone time with yourself and enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for
ignore the quality. I tried to get you an undershot.
It wasn't good lighting. I used portrait mode to make it better, but it's not. I did contour light instead of studio light.
I did it in the live capture, so there's
but
some
everything that we're saying was consensual. They asked, at least at some point.
Demanded.
Well, yours demanded. Mine was just like, it would be cool if.
Should be like, send it. I'm like, the children look at our phone. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. The law has come into play following a campaign by female-focused dating app Bumble, whose headquarters is in Austin, Texas, and collaboration with state representative. Okay, so at the same point, though, if we get booby pics, and we didn't say, hey, send me booby pics, does it go both ways? If we get booby pics or we get vagish pics, if we get full vag, I said it with a J.
Bob's and Vagana.
Yeah, Bob's and Vagana. If we get Bob's and Vagana and we didn't ask for it,
I would say they'd say yes. But
because if you're going to put it into
there's a very limited amount of people that are going to complain about it.
I mean, depending on how much you really don't like the person that sent it.
There's going to be like some gay dude who's like being stalked by some lady and she sends it and he's like,
yeah,
no way. And he's going to try it and then they're going to be like, no, it just counts for dicks. And he's going to be like,
why is this law so specific when other laws, Like in Connecticut, you can't wear a bow tie.
What?
It's illegal for
ever
bow ties or something like that. I don't know. It's a weird law, and everybody was like, "It's a Doctor Who reference." I don't know.
What?
Yeah, it was like a weird man.
They're anti-British?
Apparently, an anti-bow tie in somewhere in Connecticut. But no, I mean, I always think about that whenever I see this. Like, yes, it is rampant that guys are just like.
I think it's based off
she'll love
the
it.
amount of complaints that causes the laws. I don't think it's based off.
I just want to know that it's equal, that it's going to go the other way. Because what if you really don't like a girl? Like, what if you matched and you went on a date and you're just like, wow, I really don't like you. Please don't contact me again.
Please don't send me pictures.
And she just starts sending naked pictures of herself, and she's just sending them over and over and over again. Is she going to be fined $500 for every time she does that? Because you're like, hey, I really didn't want it.
Quick point. And
quid pro quo.
Cut this if you find it offensive.
Okay. We'll see if this makes it into the episode.
Technically.
Okay.
Isn't the clitoris just a small penis?
Why would I find that offensive? That's scientifically accurate.
It might not be.
No, it is.
It might just be me being an asshole.
But
it's all the same material.
Yeah, exactly. It's
so yes, I think that
it's all the nerve endings that would be in a penis just shrunk down.
Are just like dick pics.
Exactly. I mean, because isn't when you're like gestating in the womb and like you're forming, isn't everybody like first. I was like, isn't everybody female like right off the bat?
Or does everybody have balls? I don't know how that works.
Or is everybody just like both, and then it picks?
No, you're none.
And then it picks? Oh my goodness.
Oh, you get a vagina first. If you're a doctor or a gynecologist, tell us in the bottom.
As you can see, we're really not schooled.
Leave us comments and reviews on
human sexuality and development, biology,
and on Spotify too.
I think that would be really interesting on Spotify to see a comment like that. Can you leave comments on Spotify?
I don't know. Yes.
I don't use things like that.
Find us on Apple Podcasts if that ever happens, and then leave a comment there telling us what baby junk looks like.
To go to school. No.
Pre-baby junk looks like.
What gestating
what fetal
human
junk
beings
looks like.
Are like. I don't know. This is painting me into a really weird corner. I don't know if I want to be here.
On to the rest of this one.
I feel weird
or
now.
The next one. But yeah, dick pics, you probably shouldn't send those to people
just don't
unless
send them.
she's like, guess what I want to see. And
oh my God, this is a longer... I thought that was the end of the article. There's more.
If she's like, guess what I want to see, don't send the picture first. Find out what she wants to see first.
That's like
if she's like, guess what I want to see, and you send a picture of that, and she was like, no, I wanted to see a picture of you getting me coffee, then you fudged up.
Plus, also, you probably don't want to be in that relationship. That's kind of messed up. So be like, do you know what I want to see? I want to see proof that you're buying me something, and you send me that.
Okay.
You know what?
I suppose that's true.
Swipe. Right. Which way do you swipe to go to the next person? Swipe right.
Fine. Instead of being a controlling person demanding you buy them stuff, what if she's like, guess what I want to see? And you send that, and she's like, no, I wanted to see a picture of our doggy.
I wanted to see a picture of you first thing in the morning so that I can remember what it's like to wake up next to you. That's sweet.
Well, I wanted to see a picture of your doggy.
Who looks really good in the morning, like when you first wake up, though.
I do every day. It's not like my hair somehow just to be everywhere.
Yeah, this is how Kyle rolls out of bed.
This is how I woke up.
He just rolls out of bed, takes longer than he said he was going to take, and then, comes in here.
I was sick. I'm still sick.
I know.
I skipped my doctor's thing and everything because I was sick, and then I went back to sleep.
Okay. But basically, this came about because...
in the morning being Cowboys.
Okay, I know we were because I was there with you. But they were sending images. They quickly realized there was no recourse because of these apps. There was nothing that could be done.
The women were sending images of their dicks?
Just, they were getting dick pics, and the women were like, I'm getting dick pics. And the cops were like, this isn't a criminal defense, which once again...
Sexual harassment.
It seems like it would be a criminal offense.
I don't understand sometimes when things are like, that's not a crime. But like, what?
You're like, really? Because it seems like it falls really clearly under this umbrella.
Like, stalking wasn't a law until like the 1990s when someone got murdered. Like some.
Is that true?
Something like that. Yeah.
What?
There were no stalking laws.
Dang.
Forever.
That's crazy. I didn't
know
that.
It's like, oh, yeah, this person just follows me everywhere I go and calls me and says mean things to me. Well, has he hurt you? No, he just tells me he's going to. Can't do nothing.
Did he tell you exactly when he's going to hurt you?
No, man. They were just fine.
Do they tell you how he wants to hurt you?
Don't tell us until he hurts you. Like, which I always thought was like the most messed up thing. Whenever I hear a story like that, and the cops are like, "Oh, we can't really do anything until he does something to you."
Yeah.
Like, so it's not illegal to try and murder somebody until you like physically murder them?
Until you're murdered and or almost murdered?
Officer, there's a man banging on my door with a gun and a knife, and he's saying he's going to kill my family. Well, let us know when he gets inside.
Man. Is airdrop just something that like you can be near somebody and just be
I don't know what it is.
Here's pics. So you can like put your dick on like hundreds of people's phones?
I think so.
That seems like terrorism. Like that's like if you walk into a room
Dick terrorism.
and you're like, everybody knows what my dick looks like now. That's like that's terroristic.
Al Dicka.
Like what if someone has a phobia? Is there a
dicks?
phobia of dicks?
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's
so
genital phobias.
what if someone has a phobia and they have like a heart attack because of that? Like you just killed that person.
You go to jail for murder.
Exactly. You killed that person with your dick and you sent it to hundreds of people. That's
Dick
terrorism.
murder.
That's
I feel
terrorism.
like this story is giving us a weird outlet because we've been trying to not say bad words, but we've said dick more times than we've needed to.
It is true. This is like a palate cleanser for us.
This video
78% of millennial women have received an unwanted dick pic. That seems like a large percentage of women say that. Do they not have phones? I feel like it's 100%.
Every woman
I know has.
Unsolicited?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, but older ladies. That's why.
Maybe. Well,
People
no,
don't
it's
have
millennial. It's millennials.
I don't know.
I feel like millennials invented it.
I feel like the way women should combat that is every single time someone sends them, they'll be like respond just by like singing Nickelback and be like, "Look at this photograph."
Do you? I mean,
every time I see it, it makes me laugh. And then the guy will be like, "Shut up."
I mean, one, because
I'm never sending you another one of those now.
One, because it's Nickelback, and two, because you're laughing. I'm hurt in multiple ways.
Double insult.
Quick question. This is for the audience also.
This is for you.
Do you think that there was dick pics before cell phones? Like unsolicited?
Like people just mailing pictures of their Yeah, duh.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, like, you would go on a date with somebody, it wouldn't work out.
They'd be like, what's your address?
Exactly, but you have their address because you picked them up. Because people were, like, really cool with that back in the day of being like, yeah, pick me up at my house at this time. And, you know, if it went terribly, that's...
Back in 1877 when the first photographs were coming out.
Exactly.
The man would leave a note with a woman's wife, or mother.
What? He'd leave a note with the woman's wife.
Yes, with her mother, and be like, for her eyes only, don't open this.
With a wax seal. Just, there we go. I feel like she would loveth this. I don't know why I made it Old English. But, you know.
Well, I mean, they were, like, look at Greek art sculpture with all the dick.
True.
So many dicks in Greek sculpture.
Yo, do you think like that was another thing? Like before photographs even, people were just looking at it and like doing oil paintings and just leaving them at people's doorsteps?
People were just painting giant murals of their dick on walls like
do you like
real size?
Swipe left or right.
Although I think like back in Greek times like small dicks is what they liked.
Yeah, that was. That's why
so weird.
That's why the Statue of David. We're going off on a dick tangent. Let's go to the next one. I think you'd like this next one. I know we liked the first one, but I think you'd like the next one.
Do we get to say dick?
Man serving life sentence says it ended once he died. Was revived in medical emergency.
I agree.
So let me just read. Des Moines, Iowa, a man convicted of murder. If he has a single
life sentence, then yeah.
Yeah, right. Was rushed from Iowa State Penitentiary to a hospital in 2015 where his heart was restarted 5 times. He died 5 times. Like Booker T. 5 times.
So if he had
5 times.
If he had like 5 consecutive life sentences, they should be up.
He served them all, exactly. He claims his life sentence was fulfilled by his short-lived death, and he has overstayed his prison time by 4 years. Benjamin Schreiber, found guilty. What's funny is I didn't really read this. So
like, he's going to have done something
his
terrible,
name could
obviously.
have been Dick, for all I knew, and when I said we wouldn't be able to say it
Schreiber.
anymore, I could have been lying, but luckily it's Benjamin. Found guilty of first-degree murder in 1997 and sentenced to life behind bars without the possibility of parole. Was hospitalized in March 2015 after large kidney stones caused him to develop septic poisoning, according to court records.
You can die from kidney stones?
If they cut up your kidneys and you get septic shock, basically. Those Schreiber signed a do not resuscitate agreement years earlier. Medical staff called his brother in Texas, who told them, if he is in pain, you may give him something to ease the pain, but otherwise you are to let him pass, according to court records. Doctors proceeded to save his life by administering resuscitation fluids through an IV. Then he underwent surgery to fix the damage done by the kidney stones. So the doctors pretty much just went, all right, so this guy's a murderer. He signed do not resuscitate. We talked to his brother. His brother said, just make it painless for him. And they were like, nah. We're going to go all the way. We're going to go out of our way to save him.
His life. All right. 4 points.
Okay. Point 1.
A, point B.
I hate your ranking system when you tell things like this.
I do agree with him.
Okay.
That your life sentence should end if you die. Because he died.
Remember, he is a murderer.
You made it life sentence. Part B. He's a murderer, so I don't really know how to continue that argument. But I do feel like your life, technically...
I thought there was 4 points to this. Did me saying he's a murderer invalidate the other 3?
I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay.
He's a murderer.
All right.
Part A/C.
Yes.
Number 1.
Oh, God.
He died 5 times. It's not like he just died once.
He died over and over again.
All right. And number 3.
Do you think he's more sympathetic with his victim?
No, because he died from weird kidney stones. It depends on how he murdered them.
What if he killed them with kidney stones?
Part 74 of Section C-9.
Do you see what I deal with?
What kind of murder was it?
It doesn't give me, a description of how he killed people.
That also determines things. But no, I agree. Like, if you die, you fulfilled your sentencing. This is like that time, remember? When we talked about people being hung, and they would fall and break the rope.
It's why they changed the wording.
I'm done.
Yeah, it's why they changed the wording to hung by your neck until dead.
You said you was gonna hang me. You hung me. I got free. We're good.
Hey, what were the odds of that actually happening?
Really good back then.
The odds,
people were really bad.
The odds were on your were in your favor, on your side, and I still survived. I will survive.
I survived. It's not like people are like life sentence until you have died, dead.
Oh, they said that the sentence isn't up until a medical examiner declares he is deceased.
Was he declared deceased?
And they said the appeal is moot.
I don't know. I agree with him. If he died, the doctor's like, oh, he died. And he
died.
The
story continued. Nope. It literally just says follow on Twitter.
Follow us on Twitter, because we're on Twitter.
Yeah,
at RumPod on Twitter.
Normally, I wouldn't side with a murderer, but if the murderer was like, don't bring me back, and the brother was like, just make it painless.
Completely ignoring
they probably shouldn't have
what
brought
he's
him back.
in jail for. Based off life sentence, just the wording of that, sentenced until you are dead.
Yep.
If you die, then you're done.
It would have to be, they'd have to state in his sentence. Once again, they
let killers off for less back in the day because they used to use them as test dummies in cars. Yeah. And if you survived, then you were fine. Is that a real thing or is that a myth?
I don't know. You know a lot more. No. Facts.
You never heard about them when I was a kid. I heard about that. They would let death row inmates be crash test dummies.
I feel like most
and
things
if they survived, they were allowed out.
Most things we heard as a kid are probably wrong. But do you remember the freaking what's it called? The
GoBots?
The nutrition, the pyramid.
Oh,
the food pyramid.
The thing that doesn't matter.
Yeah, and they were basically, and we lived by that for years.
Sugar
and then
shouldn't even be on it at all. That's the thing.
And then they were like, oh yeah, by the way, just so you know, this is completely wrong.
You don't need to eat 500 pounds of meat.
Yeah, exactly. Like that.
Followed by 600 pounds of banana.
Yeah, and Pluto was a planet when we were kids. So,
It's still a planet.
It's a celestial body.
It's a dwarf planet.
I thought it was a celestial body. It got downgraded.
Everything's a celestial body. It got downgraded to dwarf planet.
It's a celestial body. That hurt. It's a microphone. It's made of metal.
No, it doesn't.
You're just a schmuck. So in the comments, let us know what you think. Do you agree with the murderer, or do you agree with the courts that he did not serve his life sentence because a medical examiner
Don't phrase it that way.
Did not pronounce him dead, or did
it.
he serve a life sentence because he died?
Don't let your biases get in the way.
Yeah, like look at it objectively, and like I was saying, like I was about to say, actually, it kind of goes back to like the first story where you were saying why it's like this seems like it would be covered under another law. Why do you have to specifically state it so directly? Like why it
why isn't this one stated so directly?
Yeah, exactly. Like why is it? Why do you have to have it in there until a medical examiner pronounces you dead? Like, does this happen a lot? Also,
I'm sure it does.
Why did the doctors try so hard to save him if he didn't want to be saved?
And his family didn't want
his family didn't want
Nobody
him to be
wanted
saved.
him saved. They're like,
just the doctors.
Yo, just make him be dead. And their doctors were like, no.
Yeah, so let us know what you think. I mean,
you can't be dead. You have a life sentence to finish.
It kind of does
which would have been finished if you died.
Yeah, exactly. And it would have saved the taxpayers tons of money.
You've only been in jail since 1997. That's only like
it was almost 20 years. It was less than 20 years.
Less than 20 years?
Because it was in 2015.
If you were born in 1997, leave in the comments how old you are.
Or how old you were in 2015.
In 1997.
I don't want to do any math.
Are you 11?
Yep, on to the next one.
On to the next one.
We're just freaking flying through these today.
Go-go bots.
Go-go bots?
Yeah, they're robots that like dance in a club, but they don't take their clothes off. They just stay in like a bikini and they just...
With high heels?
Yeah.
In like a cage kind of thing?
Yeah.
With clear bars?
Yeah, and they play disco music.
Yeah.
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 There used to be a go-go bar in Allentown. I remember because it was like right next to like Discovery Zone.
That seems like weird placement.
That's how I knew about it.
If you're old enough to remember Discovery Zone, drop a like.
My dad was taking me to Discovery Zone. I was like, what's that mean?
All right, so this one, also right up your alley. I when I saved this, I was like, I called it, what did you expect was going to happen?
More dead people?
Teenagers charged with murder of photographer after pushing a 6-foot log off of a cliff as she took pictures of the class below. They took a 6-foot log, pushed it off of a cliff to where she was standing, and they were like, she'll be fine. And she died instantly. Because I read part of this, because I was like, what? I'm like, why would they do this?
Why would they do this? What is their reasoning?
It says 2 teenagers are facing murder charges after a 6-foot log
They meant for people to get hurt. There's no way you're like, this will be funny. Nobody will get hurt.
Yeah, it's a 74-pound log. Fell about 75 feet. Yeah, Victoria Schaefer, 44, was killed instantly when the 74-pound log fell about 75 feet and hit her as she photographed students for their senior pictures near Old Man's Cave at Hawking Hills.
They were trying to take out their whole class.
Right? Like, this is crazy.
Remember when they started putting, like, fences over footbridges? It was because of jerks like that.
Yeah. Yeah, when they were throwing ice and stuff like that off of the
dying.
overpasses. Yeah. Authorities investigating whether the log was deliberately moved concluded that it was purposely removed from a pile of logs more than 40 feet away from the edge of a cliff. These kids just wanted to know what it was like to kill somebody.
Let's take this giant log, carry it to this cliff, and throw it at this class.
Yeah, they said that the first drop and let's see here, claimed that there was a ledge below the first drop and that the log would have had to required forward momentum to fall the way that it did. So they literally, on each side of it, they were like, 1, 2, huh!
All right. In their defense, were they aware that there was something happening down at the bottom?
It was their class.
I definitely threw stuff off of things.
Yeah, but it was their class.
Just to see what would happen.
But I mean, it was their class. So they would have had to have known that. How did they get away from their class to do this?
I don't know. But there's like a whole YouTube thing now where people just go up into like cherry pickers and drop stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's the How Ridiculous channel where they just drop things off of that big tower. Dropping things is just inherently
fun,
human. It's just, it's something that everybody's curious.
Well, that's what I'm wondering is if they're just like, we're going to do this now. No, they're 16. I thought you said it was a senior class.
No, it just says 2 teenagers.
It literally says they're 16 in the one part. You read it like 2 seconds ago. No, down. All the way down. Keep going down. It says 16.
Oh, yeah. I didn't read that part yet.
Did it say they were senior? Yeah. They're not seniors. It's not their class. They were just two kids messing around and
Let's see.
At a cliff.
They were initially charged with reckless homicide, but the charges have now been upgraded to murder.
They must have said something then, like, we knew.
It's because there's really no... Because in all actuality...
Reckless homicide? What's the difference between that and,
reckless homicide basically means...
Is that less than,
intention.
Involuntary manslaughter?
I feel like it'd be more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because I think involuntary manslaughter... you can get involuntary manslaughter for driving like a schmuck and, hitting somebody and they die. This is more like you did something that is inherently dangerous that could have very easily resulted in death and someone died.
They're kids, so they're dumb, so they wouldn't have known the consequences. See, that's the thing. I'm wondering if the kids were aware. They had to have been aware if they upgraded it to murder. So they had to have known. They had to have been like, well, we were trying to hit them.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, and are people going to start outraging about Home Alone and being like, well, Home Alone said that you could drop, paint cans and bricks on people and they would be perfectly fine, but
that was a movie for B.
I mean,
Part A.
Shootings.
That was self-defense.
Shootings are video games' faults, apparently, according to a lot of people.
Home Alone was self-defense.
Why couldn't you blame this on Indiana Jones and seeing people, or Star Wars and Return of the Jedi when the Ewoks tied ropes around freaking logs and dropped them from trees?
That was self-defense.
Everyone's seen it.
I haven't because I fell asleep during all the Star Wars.
We don't know these kids. We don't know if they were like, this is our forest. And they just had some weird Scooby-Doo villain obsession with this forest.
Maybe they were taking the pictures in their little clubhouse and they're like, we gotta get rid of them.
Exactly. We got our Playboys in there. We can't allow that. Who uses Playboys anymore? Playboys don't even have nudies in them anymore.
What? Not even none?
I think it's mostly stories. I think I heard that.
Sexy stories?
Yeah, sexy stories, but I think you still have to use your imagination.
Bong bong.
Bong bong.
All right, so does it say what the kid said?
No, because they're 16. Remember,
what are their names?
They can't release that information because they're 16.
They can release what the child's excuse was.
Let's see here. I'm just gonna read it.
We were having a good time and we were throwing logs off stuff, and then we were like, let's throw it off this one, and then a person died.
This is bad luck here. The woman's sister said that she was a mother of 4 and left her job to pursue photography full time.
What was her job?
Not getting hit by logs while taking pictures, I'm assuming.
So many jokes, because I'm like, I can't laugh at that, but I kind of want to. So my job is definitely also not getting hit by logs, so.
Yeah. The defendants remain in juvenile detention center on 100,000 or 78,000 euro, lire, pound. I don't know which one that is.
Liter pounds?
Bonds. Teenagers will appear before a new judge in adult court next week.
New judge?
Here's the thing, though. If you're going to try them in adult court, then you should be able to release their names.
I don't think they should ever be charging anybody that's under an adult amount of age as adults. Honestly, I don't think you should be charged as an adult until you're in your 20s because your brain isn't fully developed until you're 23.
Yeah, exactly, until you're in your 20s. 18 is just an arbitrary
16 is the time when you make stupid decisions because you're unable to think about it.
Yeah.
I almost died so many times because I'm like, yeah, this will probably be fine.
Yeah. I can't even count how many times I hung out of a moving vehicle that was going really, really fast. Totally could have
rode on the hood of a vehicle that was going pretty fast with your friends that are jerks that slam on their brakes to see you fall off.
And what's funny is we weren't even there for each of these things, but we separately had that happen. It's just how 16-year-olds are.
Yeah, 16-year-olds are dumb.
You do a lot of dumb things. I mean, yeah, you probably should have known that throwing a log off of a cliff, if there's people down there, would end poorly.
No. Think about when you were a kid. You'd be like, this isn't going to hit that person. And you did so many things you knew were dangerous.
Okay,
probably would hurt your brother, but you're like, he'll be fine.
No, actually, other way around. Very similar to this. So where I lived near a cliff. I think I've shown you. Haven't I shown you where I used to live?
Yes.
The cliff?
Like 12
Yeah,
times.
there was like the cliff there. So my brother had a Power Rangers like Zord thing, and he took the pink one, and he was like, I hate pink, and threw it off the cliff. And then he went and he was like, wait, but
he's missing a leg.
And then he was like, I can't complete the Zord though without that. So he was like, Jared, can you go down to the bottom of the cliff? My pink one fell. And I was like, all right, for once, I'm going to be a good brother, and I'm going to go down there. So I climbed down the cliff, went, grabbed it, and went, I got it. And the moment I went, got it, I look up, and I see a rock like this big. Just whoo, whoo, whoo. And I follow the rock as it smashes directly on my hand. And I'm just like, ah! And I looked at him. I'm like, I'm going to kill you when I get up there. So I start climbing.
Why did he throw the rock?
Because in the time that I picked it up and lifted it, he went, you know what? Not even worth it. I do hate that pink one, and wanted it destroyed.
So his goal was to hit it out of your hand?
Was to hit it out of my hand with a rock bigger than my hand.
He's like, this will be fine. You'll be fine. It's
So
only going to destroy the toy.
It
People
literally,
are stronger than rocks.
Yeah, it literally crushed my fingers onto this toy.
Did you have to go to the hospital?
No, my dad wouldn't take me to the hospital. He was like, you're fine.
Were they broken?
No, they weren't broken.
Did the toy break?
Not really. Like, it cracked a little bit, but...
If the toy cracked because your finger smashed into it, you probably should have went to the hospital.
Probably. There's a lot of times I
No
probably
wonder your
should've.
hands crack weird. Yeah, that's not normal. I can't crack the front knuckles that much.
Yeah. So I'm climbing up with one hand at this point. He runs inside. He tells my dad, Jared said he's going to kill me and he's chasing me. I run in, and of course the first thing out of my mouth is, I'm going to kill you. So my dad grabs me, throws me against the wall, says, what are you doing? Why are you threatening him? And I lift up my hand, which is like blood on it and dirt everywhere. And I go, he asked me to get a toy. And the moment I picked it up, no, like my hand was like
amazing.
stuck.
You're still holding it.
Oh no, I dropped the toy. Like my hand was stuck in this position. And I was like, or the moment I picked it up, I looked up and a huge rock was flying at my hand and crushed it. And my dad just looked. And he slowly let me down. And he turned to my brother, who was just like, I didn't know.
And then he goes, run. give him a head start. He's like, go.
That music picked up. Run.
That's the song, right? That's how it goes?
Totally. But I mean, my brother was also 10 when that happened.
You were what, 29?
No, I'm only
27?
5 years older than him.
38.
I was either 14 or 15 when that happened.
13.
Yeah, my brother was really young when that happened.
22.
I mean, when he was 16, he also did really stupid stuff that was very dangerous. I won't get into that. I'll wait for my brother might be on the show at some point, so I'll wait for him to be on.
It was meth.
No, it wasn't.
No.
You can't say that online. That's slander.
What? I don't know how that works. All right, I apologize.
But no, so I'll let him tell any ridiculous stories if he comes on. But no, so he was really, really young, and it did not even compute, because if that rock would not have hit my hand and would have been over 1.5 feet, it would have been a rock thrown from the top of a cliff that was pretty much as big as my head, hitting me in the face.
Then he would have been running inside yelling, Dad, Jared's gonna kill me. I'm gonna hit him with a rock, baby. He's probably on his way. And then like hours later, your dad would have been like, where is he? I thought he was coming. I'm waiting at the door like, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, and I would have just been dead.
He'd be getting madder at you,
So, I mean, like,
madder at you.
Like a 10-year-old. A 10-year-old didn't think about his actions far enough to go with this might kill somebody. Are you saying that 16-year-olds are just barely smarter, but not really, than a 10-year-old?
When it comes to making impulsive decisions, yeah.
All right, then. That answers that question.
I still can't control my impulses.
I don't think you would throw a 6 foot, 75-pound log over a cliff, though.
Not if I knew there was people there, but I might.
You're like, if I
was like, this is
clear,
if I knew
there wasn't people there,
if for whatever reason me and you had a 74-pound log in our hands,
okay,
and we were at a cliff, and we were like, where should we put this? We need to put this down somewhere. I would definitely be like, yeah, let's put it down there. You'd be like, that's not what I meant. I meant where we could access it later. And I'm like, we can go down there later.
It's 74 pounds. It would totally be fine. It'll survive the fall. Science experiment. We love science experiments. We love science experiments, people.
Here's a good idea for this. Here's good reasoning. If we were building something with hammers, and we've done this, how many times have I just been like, I bet I can do this in one, and just smashed the crap out of whatever it was?
More than one time. I will clearly say that. More than one time.
You're like, you're not going to get it in one. You're like, yeah, I am. Bam! I missed.
Especially since you're like, I have a big enough hammer.
Oh, yeah, when I'm using Destructor.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, so I can understand that the kids might not grasp fully.
Unless they were like, let's hit this person.
Yeah. I mean, if they were just like, my class is down there. Stupid.
It's not their class. If they were like, I hate seniors.
Maybe they were taking senior pictures early.
Like 2 years early?
No, they're I graduated at 17. A year early. A year early.
I was 16 when I was a sophomore.
I was 16 as a junior.
Wait, how old was I? No, I wasn't. I was 14 when I was a freshman. And I was 15.
I was 16 for a little bit as a senior. I was going to say, what if these kids were geniuses and skipped a grade? But based off of the story, not going to say that.
What if they were doing science? They're trying to figure out the trajectory of that log.
And like they see if it like reached terminal velocity?
Yeah. What if they're doing...
Oh,
did
man,
they have notebooks?
We don't have enough information.
If those children had notebooks and there was like mass times force equals whatever...
Mass times velocity equals force?
Yeah, that.
Okay.
And they were like, all right, 74-pound log, 110
I can say that
lady.
it hits with enough force to kill a human being instantly.
Well, that would have like adjusted their notes then. They'd be like, all right, so 74-pound log traveling at 85 miles per hour, downward slope of a 90 degrees, and there's a photographer at the bottom. She dies.
I mean, they would then scientifically know
not the
amount of force that it takes to kill somebody, if that's what they were doing. I think what we're proving is that we would be terrible on the jury. I think that's what this proves.
They'd be like doing the jury selection.
They'd be like,
so how do you feel about this? But hey, let me give you 7 points. All right, C. Why are you starting in the middle? I don't know.
Part 1.
Those are children. I don't want them to be here. Children don't belong in adult court. And I'll be like, a woman died. Like, Part D.
But did she die?
Like, there's no A and B. There's never been an A and B. But did she die? They're like, yeah. Like, oh.
Q.
Part D. Like, you just did that one. I know.
New Part D.
New Part D. Did they know she was there?
Be like, well, that's what we're trying to find out. Be like, I kind of need that ahead of time.
I need to know that now. So I can be unbiased.
Part F. Did they have notebooks? Like, what does that have to do with anything?
Part E. Were they in advanced physics?
Exactly. I mean, you know what? If we're ever up for like jury selection,
I'm definitely not going to get on, and I want to do it.
I'm going to just point them to this episode and just be like, hey, listen to our podcast really quick and hear
our feelings on this.
And hear how we logically approach like finding someone's guilt, because it would take years.
I'm gonna be on like a jury selection team. They're gonna be like, "How do you feel about this?" And I'll be like, "What answer like lets me do it?" And they'll be like, "You can't ask questions." Like, why can't I ask questions?
Be like, why are you the only one that gets to ask questions?
Like, I want to be here, so just tell me the right answer, so I'll say it. And they'll be like, "Sir, this is like traffic court." I'm like, oh, that's boring.
Why is it always got to be about you guys?
Like, this is about traffic court. I'm like, why is there a trial for this?
Jury?
Everybody has a right to trial by jury.
Sure.
I honestly feel like if I ever get like a speeding ticket, I'm like, I'm gonna fight this. I'm gonna be like, can I have this? And I demand jury.
You should be like, I would like a trial by jury. And people are like, "Wait, you want this to go to like criminal proceedings?" Be like, "No, just whatever I need a jury there for.
I need a jury.
I want a jury of my peers.
Like, prove I was speeding.
I want you to prove beyond a reasonable doubt."
Well, he was going fast. Sad at speed.
Does it say speed limit not fast?
Well, my speedometer catcher said that he was doing blah, 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 and a blah, blah, blah. You're not allowed to use those.
When was the last time that was checked? Do you have the certification?
Would you like to guarantee me the accuracy of your speedometer?
I'd like to call a witness, someone who used to work for the speedometer people.
I have a technician here.
He says that he used to drink a lot during the job.
It's only about 75% accurate 10% of the time.
We would be schmuck lawyers. we would be
making up words.
They would hate us.
Speedometer's not a word.
I know it's not a word, but it worked. It explained it pretty well.
Speed catcher man. I'm a police officer. Speed catcher man, sir. Man. Ma'am. Sir.
Speed catcher man.
I don't want to assume your gender, but
speed catcher person.
Speed catcher person. I'm a police officer. Stop interrupting. Objection.
Another reason we can't be lawyers. We would say 3 words. Objection. Objection.
You're the only one who spoke. Yeah, I know. I want to take that back.
Yeah.
Can you strike that from the record?
That's how that works, right? Just if I object, it needs to go away.
Somebody be like winning and be like, all right. I hate you.
I object on what grounds? The fact that they were better prepared than me.
He took notes.
I didn't know we were allowed to do that.
I thought that we had to just show up and go for it. I'm just winging it right now. Can we have a recess?
We're basically saying that if we were ever involved in any form of legal proceedings,
we already know
it would be my cousin Vinny.
If somebody
somebody
had a heart attack on death row, we'd be definitely getting him off. And if some child threw a log off of something, we'd be like,
we would have that in.
But did they know?
Yeah, we'd be sequestered for weeks. We'd be in some crappy hotel room just going, but did they know?
Did they know?
Science?
Did they have notebooks? Are they in physics?
From every single possible thing. What if they're Ewoks that just shaved off all of their hair? Have you thought of that?
What if they were home alone and they thought those people were coming to invade them because they were taking pictures in their backyard?
What if they found oil and they decided to dress up like ghouls and set booby traps?
What? Is that from something?
Scooby-Doo. It's more of a Scooby-Doo line of thinking.
On to the next one. We're going way too far on this one.
I was actually
This is what Rum and Coke does. It ruins our show.
I was just about to ask, are you aware that we have a 4th one? This is actually the last one, though.
Rum and Coke always ruins the show every time we've ever done it.
We're at less than an hour right now.
I'm surprised. What?
Yeah.
I felt like that was 9 hours just on that topic. Never mind. Let's keep going. Let's talk about how good I'd be at being a judge.
With all the talking beforehand, we're at like 50 minutes. But this one I had saved as what?
What?
A white restaurant owner admitted to enslaving a black man, and he got 10 years in prison.
What?
See? Thank you. Let's repeat this.
Why is he smiling?
A white restaurant owner admitted to enslaving a black man, and he got 10 years in prison. I'm gonna be quiet for a second to allow that to sink in to everybody's just life right now.
How did he enslave him?
Yeah, that's exactly what I just said.
So many questions.
John Christopher Smith, which has...
Actually, did you know that like the human trafficking thing that's like super prominent, especially in our area for some reason?
Yeah.
Doesn't just include sex work slavery? That's included in that. Did he buy him?
Like labor laws?
Yeah.
All right, so let's see here. So John Christopher Smith, which I guess is the name of the guy who was enslaved, initially liked working at J&J Cafeteria in Conway, South Carolina. Of course it'd be in South Carolina. Where he was hired when he was 12 years old. Okay. For about 2 decades, Smith washed dishes, bussed tables, and cooked food at a small-town diner without issue. That all changed around 2009, authorities say, when Bobby Paul Edwards, oh, wow. That just sounds like the kind of guy who would enslave somebody.
Bobby Paul Edwards. How come bad guys like this always have 3 names?
Right?
Like, serial killers always get 3 names, and I've never understood that. Like,
except for the victim also got 3 names, too. So, I mean, they put his middle name in.
John Christopher Smith. That's because
he took over as
that is the
daily
slaviest
manager.
Slave name ever.
Right?
Was that given to him? Was he born with John Christopher Smith? That's every white name ever.
But let's see here. So he took over. So Bobby Paul Edwards took over as daily manager and enslaved Smith at the restaurant for 5 years. By means of physical violence, threats, and intimidation, Edwards coerced Smith into working more than 100 hours per week without pay.
Where was this kid's parents?
Well, I mean, at that point, let's see, he was 12 years old when he started working there.
So at first he was an employee.
He was 32 years old. Still, he was working there when he was 32 years old. And then
for 20 years?
Well, no, he was working there for 20 years and liked it. And then Bobby Paul Edwards took over, and then for 5 years he was a slave. So from 32 to 37. So my age range right now.
Why didn't he stab him?
The abuse and threats were so severe that Smith, who is black, was too afraid to speak up or go to the authorities. He was freed when someone notified police in 2014. In an interview with an NBC affiliate the following year, Smith said he wanted to see Edwards go to prison. Yeah, I would hope so. He should hope to see him fry. He held you as a slave for 5 years. On Thursday, the Justice Department announced Edwards, 54, had been sentenced to 10 years in prison and ordered to pay Smith nearly $300,000 in restitution in a case federal authorities have likened to abusive enslavement. I'm sorry. So you're telling me that the 16-year-olds that may or may not have been, killing somebody on purpose, may or may not have been doing experiments, might have more jail time than somebody who enslaved a man?
Response to that.
I'm just saying.
People died in that one.
I mean, he could have beat him to death.
True.
If they would not have, if no one would have turned this man in, this could have been ending with man beats a man to death.
After authority,
exactly.
Years.
Authorities find out that man was enslaved for 25 years.
I just want to play devil's advocate a little bit. Say
okay, go for it.
The people that died, that's a little bit different than not being dead.
I'm just saying, watch yourself because you white.
I know, that's why this is difficult. Because I was going to say, 10 years is double 5. But then I was like, I can't say that. So you say that.
10 years is double 5. There you go.
You slurred the crud out of that. Anyway, he should definitely...
We didn't measure this drink.
Nope. This is the bad plan.
Yep. This is your plan.
I thought it was going to be good.
Okay.
I had a good idea. And it's actually great because I kept saying how dumb teenagers make a drink. And then you had to think about dumb teenagers.
Exactly.
And slavery. So does this mean like when like the Klansmen are like, that was 200 years ago? We could be like, nuh-uh.
It was 2014 when this guy got caught.
That was 5 years ago.
Exactly. It was 5 years ago.
So he's only got 5 more years.
He only has 5 more years in prison right now. And that's if they found him guilty in 2014.
Dude, you know he's like a leader in like the Aryan Brotherhood.
Definitely.
They're like, oh, you had a slave?
Let's see here. I'm gonna keep reading though.
You're gonna have to beat me at least twice.
I mean, the Aryan Brotherhood would say something like that. The defendant pleaded guilty on June 4th, 2018. He just went in.
So, all right. So is he gonna get time served for the time during the trial?
Probably. Well, I don't know. Probably not. I have no clue.
Usually that's how that works. You get time served for whatever you served before if you actually stayed in jail.
Yeah, he is almost done then. To 1 count of forced labor for coercing an African-American man with an intellectual disability. Oh my God, this gets worse.
All right, so they're like compounding this, and I feel like it should get worse because once you go from get the intellectual disabilities, that's like a whole separate form. Right, so there's I've seen people go to jail for like 10 years just for that. human slavery is one crime.
Yeah.
Then there's the hate crime aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the abuse of a mentally, intellectually disabled person.
Exactly. There's two forms
That's
of
three
isms.
different freaking versions of
Crimes.
No. Not the word I'm looking for. You
Bad.
made it harder. Yeah, bad. The 3 different forms of bad.
There you go. See, I made it easy by choosing a 3-letter word.
No, you keep screwing it up because I'm almost having the word discrimination.
There you go. Good job.
Dick.
And don't send that to people unsolicited.
Except this guy. Send those to that guy.
I hope he gets sent a bunch of unsolicited dick pics, but
To
without
his
the pic part.
Butthole.
Exactly. This guy's terrible.
He's going to be someone's slave in prison.
I hope so. Let's see here. To work excessive hours at a restaurant for no pay. For stealing his victim's freedom and wages, Mr. Edwards has earned every day of his sentence. I feel like he's earned more than just 10 years, but okay.
Maybe they're basing it on the amount of hours?
And
I
just
mean,
multiplying
this is South
by
Carolina.
2? Okay. Well,
What is 100 hours a week for 5 years?
For 5 years? So you're looking at, let's see here. So 100 hours a week. So that's what?
100
24 times 7.
5,200 hours. Divided by 12 is 433 hours a month. And I don't know where I was going with that math.
I don't know where you're going with it either. I
was just trying to figure out how many years it was, and I screwed that all up.
Yeah, I was doing it correctly. But let's go. Okay, so it was
I did it
100 hours
times 52. That's how many hours.
100 hours a week. There is 24 hours a day times 7. 168 hours a week.
It was 100 hours a week. What are you doing?
There's 168 hours in a week, and there's 52 weeks in a year. And
times 10
times 5
times 5
equals. So there was out of 43,680.
Yeah, we don't understand what math we're doing.
Wait, give me a second. I'm almost there. I think my brain's almost got this. So out of 43,680 hours, he worked for.
I told you that one. Times 5.
Oh yeah, times 5. I was like, that doesn't seem right.
He worked 26,000.
26,000.
Out of how many?
Out of 46,000. So he worked pretty much half, nonstop.
So that guy.
The only time he wasn't working was when he was sleeping.
Half as many hours as there was in a year. So then they took that and they doubled that and they gave that to the guy who enslaved him.
Yeah.
So that's like times 4?
Maybe? Yeah, times 4 because you times 2 gives you the year. And then times 2 again.
So that seems fair now.
No, it doesn't.
Our bad math state. I don't know.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't at all.
I don't know, man. I was just trying to think about it by numbers.
You're overlooking the abuse part of it.
Oh, yeah. He gets extra for hitting him.
Yeah. For beating him, threatening him, and doing a whole bunch of other stuff.
And for the intellectual disability. You should always get extra. They should double it for each crime that it was.
Yeah, I mean, there's...
Like, you get 10 years for enslaving a person, but because it was a hate crime, you get double. And because it was an intellectually disabled person, you get another double. So you're going to jail for 40 years.
Okay, he dipped metal tongs in hot grease and then placed them against Smith's neck, resulting in a burn that was treated immediately by other employees. Didn't even take him to a doctor.
What? No, all right, so this guy deserves a life
He said his
sentence.
manager would
That's
call
torture.
him... Exactly, that's torture. Would call him racial slurs and threaten to stomp his throat and beat him until people would not recognize him.
And none of the other employees did anything. Actually, they're all accomplices.
Exactly, yeah. And they would hear him. They would hear him crying like a child and yelling, "No, Bobby, please!" after his beatings. And the plaintiff, forced the plaintiff to get back to work. He would work 17 hours a day under Edwards' watch. The only reprieve came on Sundays when he was still forced to work from 6 to 2. And he lived in a roach-infested apartment behind the restaurant. That when they went into it, they stated that it was harmful to human health. 10 years is nowhere.
It's definitely not.
Because
you have all the stories.
Yeah, this right here, prison is going to be healthier and technically nicer than the conditions that he forced this guy to live in. And he's not going to be branded with hot tongs for doing things incorrectly.
The torture should be a life sentence. Just
Exactly.
that alone. Like, that separate from the slavery should be a separate sentence.
Oh, and the way that he convinced him to do this is he said, I'm opening a bank account for you, and I'll put your money in there. And he just never opened the bank account.
Or put money in it.
Well, I mean, he never opened the bank account, so there was nowhere to put the money.
Listen, shut your whore mouth and I'll smack you in the tits.
All right, then. But yeah, this guy is a POS of the highest degree. So I agree with you. It should be, if you're torturing a human being that you have enslaved, I mean, you should probably just go by Geneva Convention laws at that point.
Death?
Is that what it is?
I don't know. What's the war crimes?
I don't know.
I thought all war crimes ended with executions.
Pretty much. So, okay. If you're watching this on YouTube, in the comments, let us know what you think this guy should have got. I like touching things.
It's great because I've been the childish one, but I just had to move that from you.
Because
so everybody's going to see that. Because that was annoying the crap out of me.
This is what I deal with. I have to deal with whatever he's doing for hours on end. And he's like, oh, you've been irritating me for 3 minutes. I have to finish this now. But leave in the comments how long you feel this guy should have gotten.
Or send us a message on Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Any one of our platforms. You leave what you feel the punishment is. If you feel that the punishment was fair, let us know that. I never said we have to agree with your crappy opinions, but, let us know if you feel that enslaving a person for 5 years, torturing them, and then, forcing them to live in squalor and filth, 10 years is acceptable. Let us know. We'll tell you you're an idiot, but let us know. Yeah. I feel like we've covered everything. Do you feel like we've covered everything?
Happy birthday.
All right. So to end this out, thank you very much for stopping by. We love having you here, as long as your opinion isn't stupid. But
my opinions are stupid. I'm still here.
Yeah.
Have stupid opinions.
You can follow us right here on Instagram and Facebook at Rum Runnas. You can follow Kyle right there at Mr. Norwell on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter.
Rum
I'm gonna
Pod.
have to make stuff for this, aren't I?
Yep.
At Rum Pod. You can follow. You can now, if you're listening, make sure to follow us. Make sure to drop likes, download all the stuff that podcasts do on. Where are they again?
Anchor FM, Breaker, Castbox, Podchaser, or Spotify.
I'm going to try to leave all the links in the description down below.
Most of them you can just look us up as the Rum Runner Podcast.
Yep. And like I said, fingers crossed, hopefully, if you guys like what you're hearing and you listen and you download, at some point we're going to be on Apple. Fingers crossed, hopefully we get to that point. And Stitcher. So we need your help to get to there.
Your help so that we can do this full time and start a bunch of other shows that we have good ideas for.
Yeah. If you haven't already, make sure to check out part 1 on our YouTube channel of the Dove Trilogy. And after this comes out, part 2 will be coming out later in the week. So see what, our first original production in a while. Check that out because, we do productions and stuff like that are very, very funny and overdramatic. But with that said, thank you very much for stopping by. Peace. Deuces. We will catch you in the next one. Stop it. Stop.
I like your beard.
It's all over. There's no place to run, even if we let you out of there. Don't do anything foolish.